This is The Whole Truth, brought to you by the Greenville County Democratic Party. From local city councils and school boards to the South Carolina legislature and the nation, we provide a clear-eyed view of the whole truth surrounding the decisions, the policies, and the politics that have a direct impact on your family, your neighbors, and you. The Greenville County and the South Carolina Democratic Party have made incredible strides in recruiting extraordinary candidates for elected offices across South Carolina. In many instances, we even have primary election contests between multiple Democratic candidates from which you can choose. Because of this, we decided to interview as many of these candidates as we are able in order to have you be well informed as you vote in the June 9th primary elections.
Welcome to another episode of The Whole Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Morris, third vice chair of the Greenville County Democratic Party, joined by special guest, Mr. David Mitchell. David is running for Greenville County Council District 23 on a platform that's focused on ensuring that the historic growth that we're experiencing in Greenville actually translates into stability and opportunity, an opportunity for people who have lived here for a long time. He advocates strongly for income-based affordable housing, managed infrastructure expansion, public transit enhancements, and economic empowerment for minority and women-owned businesses. David, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, Charles.
So you've emphasized in District 23, which, full disclosure, is where I live, and we urgently need income-based affordable housing. So what specific policies or reforms do you plan to pursue on County Council to accelerate the expansion of affordable housing?
Well, Charles, one of the key things I want to talk about, because we talk about affordable housing all the time, and it's becoming a cliche. I want to focus on affordable housing from the aspect of making sure it's accessible and attainable. So what do I mean about accessible affordable housing? We have to create a situation where we can have people to be able to afford the houses that we sell affordable. Many of the houses are not accessible now. This past week, the HUD put out the AMI ratings, new numbers. The new numbers say that you have to make $100,000 to at 100% area median income in order to afford a house in Greenville County. That's unrealistic.
That's really high.
I mean, but you hadn't really got the real numbers. So when we start talking about the 30 to 50% AMI or area median income for affordable housing, that person will have to make $73,000 to $80,000 in order to afford a house in the city of Greenville as well as the county. So that is really a challenge for people in our legacy neighborhoods. I'm speaking of legacy neighborhoods that are being gentrified, that are people where people are being displaced. They don't have the opportunity to rebuild in their neighborhoods. They don't have the opportunity to buy homes in their neighborhoods that are being built. We have $1 million homes being built in West Greenville, in Nicholtown, and Overbrook.
I live down the street from one of West Greenville.
Exactly, in Judson. So all these places are being overdeveloped and not giving the legacy residents an opportunity to stay in their neighborhoods and afford the new homes that are there. So when I talk about accessible housing, I would like to see the county do a lot like what the city is doing, is do some land banking to purchase up some property that is specifically designated for affordable housing that is going to be accessible to the people who are legacy residents of these neighborhoods that truly meet the AMI, the 20 to 30% AMI, that puts a person at a $50,000 to $60,000 income in affordable housing. That's what we're talking about, making it accessible. Then we have to make it attainable. You can, have a house that's affordable. It can be accessible, but is it attainable? I currently serve on the Habitat Humanity Board, and we are looking at ways of training and developing people they go through a 12 to 14 month program to help them get the training and development of how to be a homeowner. How to get your credit rating in order, how to get the bank loan, how to approach for grants. There's mortgage grants that are out there for specific income in specific areas. That's the kind of program that we need to put in place, community outreach programs that help people identify opportunities that will help them attain the houses that we call affordable. So my main platform is, again, affordable housing, but make sure it's accessible as well as attainable to legacy residents of the neighborhood in District 23 where people are being displaced and gentrified.
No, I mean, that speaks to me personally. Again, I live in West Greenville. I live in a modest house. there's a very nice house being built across the street that does not look like the neighborhood.
Yeah.
My neighbor just moved out. Their house is on the market for $650,000. And down the street on Textile Avenue is a house on sale for $1.25 million.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
And how's that realistic for someone who's lived in that neighborhood?
It's not
It's not realistic. And so we have to create programs, and County Council has a place for that. And that's in the budgeting process. We have to make sure that we're not focusing on defunding affordable housing, but funding affordable housing, making sure that we have an opportunity. And a great way to do that is just through land banking. That's what County Council can do through the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority, making sure they are funded and having the resources that they can go out and buy property that's available so we can create affordable housing in Greenville County, especially in District 23.
No, I love that you mentioned land banking.
Yes.
Now Councilwoman Tina Belgi ran on affordable housing.
Yes.
And she talked a lot about land banking, which is something that I hadn't really looked into. I'd love to see the city and the county pursue that.
It's a great formula. It's a great formula. When government has the opportunity, then we have better control. The developer's not in control. And I'm not against developers. I'm not against growth. But clearly a governmental agency will be more in tune to doing affordable housing for the taxpayers. And essentially, it's taxpayers' money, and the people who pay the taxes have an opportunity to take advantage of those taxes by, having land that's purchased and truly identified as affordable housing.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into the next question. You've mentioned this earlier, overdevelopment.
Oh, yeah.
So, Greenville's booming. It's not just the city. The county is, all the municipalities are booming, which puts a huge strain on infrastructure. We have less green space.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a townhouse going up on every block. You can't drive through Malden. You see 15 of those signs on the road saying, come this way for such and such development, right? How does the county balance this massive growth responsibly?
I like to use the term smart. Let's do smart growth. Charles, we cannot stop the growth. We had this term, that Greenville. We told people to come here.
Yes.
And we didn't.
It worked, right?
It worked. And they're still coming. But we didn't prepare for the people to come. We didn't prepare with infrastructure. We say, that Greenville, come here, but we didn't build the roads for them to get here. We gave them potholes and road diets. We gave them, infrastructure that's not working for them. Heck, we gave them Woodruff Road. And so when we have that problem of growth outpacing infrastructure, and the development is not smart due to the fact that people don't have a way to get around Greenville. Just to get here, I had to leave 45 minutes early, and I live 10 minutes away from here to come down Stone Avenue because of the infrastructure. I knew this interview was at 5 o'clock. So
depending on the time, that's a tough place to be.
That's a tough place to be.
Yeah.
So you have to manage that due to the overgrowth that we are facing because it's not smart. We're letting the development outpace our infrastructure. So I'm asking that as a county council member, let's focus on smart growth. If we see our development is outpacing our infrastructure, let's slow down a minute on the development. Let's get the infrastructure in place so we don't have traffic nightmares that we have on Woodruff Road. We don't have the traffic nightmares we have on Stone Avenue. I tried to go down to Park Avenue the other day. Well, we had this bright idea of creating a road diet. You reduced Park Avenue down to one lane, and it took me literally 30 minutes to go 1 mile.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge that we face. So we have to focus on that. And you mentioned a green space, and I go back to the land banking space. We don't have to build a house or building on everything that we have. Let's keep Greenville green. I was in a meeting the other day, and a lady said, "Do you remember that slogan we had? Say, let's keep Greenville green." And I thought about that, and I said, yes, I remember that slogan. So even with the land banking, we don't just have to let's build some green space. This is Greenville. Let's keep it green. So everything doesn't have to be developed. So let's do smart growth that's infrastructurally smart, that gives us opportunity to have good roads, good infrastructure, that people can have a walkable community in their neighborhoods, have traffic control so people are not speeding through their neighborhoods, that they get in the resources that people in our district truly need. We need sidewalks. A number of people in our neighborhoods, I'm knocking on doors and asking people, what is the issues? Well, it's traffic. It's we don't have sidewalks. So that's when it gets down to the nitty-gritty of how can we do smart growth. Smart is simply building a sidewalk for our constituents in District 23. That's
a lot of times it's simple solutions.
Simple
right?
solutions.
We get too
Build a
caught up in
sidewalk.
these pie in the sky things, where in the work of local government is simple things to make people's lives better.
Makes lives better. You know, I don't want people speeding down the road. I want my kids to be able to cross the street without the danger of being hit by a car. So if I just build a sidewalk or put some speed bumps in a neighborhood in District 23, whether it's in Nickeltown, whether it's in Greenline Spartanburg Street, whether it's in Judson or New Washington Heights, wherever it might be, let's do District 23 and give it the services that's needed in Greenville County. And I think I can do that. I know I can do that as a Greenville County councilman.
Well, I certainly agree with that. I'm glad you touched on the green space, because
Yes.
I think for the most part, especially in the city, we've done a good job managing the green space.
Yes.
But I worry that that's going to become less of a priority the more desperate the housing needs become. And I think it's important to have somebody that remains focused on that. You've also highlighted the creation of business opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses or women-owned business enterprises. So what policy changes or what county procurement practices will you advocate for as a member of council creating policy to help improve those opportunities?
Well, as you know, I'm a minority business owner. I've been in the business for the last 25 years, owning my own business, doing a professional placement, temporary staffing. That challenge was, with like any business person, there's challenges involved with it, but you need opportunity, and the opportunity needs to come from resources like that the county provides. This whole movement to do away with diversity, equity, and inclusion, all of these things that people are saying that we're getting an advantage. Trust me, Charles, I work for everything I got. I just needed an opportunity. I just needed somebody to open the door.
You needed a
I can go right
shot.
in. It's a fair shot. That's all we're asking. So that's what I want to create and make sure that we're not overly focused on nonsense that's saying people are getting a one-up or advantage because they happen to be a minority or a woman-owned or LGBTQ plus community that they don't deserve opportunity. Oftentimes those opportunities are blocked because of the mental biases of people that create issues that are not necessarily issues. So yes, I will focus on, as a council member, making sure that we maintain opportunities for minority and women-owned business and all the diversities that are out there. It's extremely important that we provide those opportunities. How do we do that? Is make sure we maintain a policy and base that supports what the federal government and the state government and city and county has always done, give minorities an equal opportunity to succeed in Greenville County.
I like that you stand on that, even in today's political environment.
Yes.
Nationally, state level.
Yes.
Thankfully, locally, it hasn't been quite as bad, but some people tell you behind the scenes it has been.
It's bad.
And it's nice to see somebody that will stand on business when it comes to that and say exactly what it is. This is just a fair shot. This is not an unequal shot.
There you go. And I think
this is about equity.
Yeah.
It's not about a quota, which is what people like to say.
I wouldn't accept a quota, and that sounds like it's what you got. No, I don't need quotas. I need an opportunity. Give me the opportunity, and then I can make the best of the opportunity. I just want an equal and fair shot as anyone else. Right. I can stand on my skill sets. I can stand on my abilities and knowledge of staffing. I can stand on my skills and knowledge of being a business person. So give me a fair opportunity, and that's all we're asking for. And I want to make sure that opportunity is there for everyone, not because you presume or perceive that my growth and my opportunity became because of my skin color. That's not true.
Or that when I walk in because of my skin color or because of my gender or because of who I dare to love, that you're then going to be automatically prejudiced against me. There need to be protections against that kind of bias.
Yeah, that's archaic thinking.
Anybody saying that they don't have that implicit bias, they're probably lying.
They're lying. And it's archaic thinking. Of course. Absolutely.
You've talked about providing the sheriff's office with increased training and social services support. So how do you structure the county budget to integrate those social services into our current public safety model, which is, obviously like most, centered around policing?
And let me say very clearly, I am for policing. I think policing is extremely important. I think police officers need to be paid a fair and equitable wage, but
have access to housing.
Have access to housing and things like that. They deserve employment just as well as anybody. They don't carry a gun and protect our neighborhoods for free, and we shouldn't expect them to do so. So we should fund our police department, our sheriff's department, as much as we possibly can, to the best of our ability. And that's keeping in line with what other agencies are paying, what is a fair and equitable wage for sheriff's officers. But we need to have policies in place as well to go beyond policing, social services that are associated with those funding to reduce crime in our neighborhoods and our communities, especially in District 23 and various areas. We need to make sure that we have policing that's done smart. It's not just that you arrest folk because you're called out there. If you see an emergency situation where there's mental issues going on, our police officers need to be trained and understand that maybe this is not an arrest situation. Maybe this is a situation where we need to call in a counselor or someone else to assist.
Situation.
Yeah, intervention. Mm-hmm. So that helps. We need those type programs. We need youth programs. I'd love to see us bring back the community policing where we had police officers that oversaw midnight basketball and things of that nature in the county, where it kept kids off the street, especially in the summertime. They were not hanging out at the mall causing trouble, or they were not downtown just being mischievous. They had something structured to do. Right. That's what I would like to see in our communities, in our neighborhoods, funding for programs like that, like midnight basketball, like activities that keep kids busy throughout the summer so that it's not loitering and hanging out and getting into mischief because they have nothing to do. We can create those programs under our law enforcement department, not to police our children, but to protect them.
Absolutely. My last question for you. You're in a primary. You got two other opponents.
Yes.
Why should people vote for you?
Well, first of all, people should vote for David C. Mitchell for Greenville County Council because I'm going to be a councilman that's going to show up, not only at council meetings, but also in the neighborhoods. I want to focus on being a neighborhood councilman, a councilman that is there with the people, making sure I'm listening to their needs, meeting their needs, listening to their concerns, and taking those things back to council, back to committees, back to things where departments within the county that can service the need that a person has. Had a resident the other day that has an issue with, runoff in her yard. That's what a councilman is supposed to do. A councilman can't find that issue sitting at that desk as opposed to me knocking on doors and asking, what are issues you're facing? Well, I'm facing an issue where I'm having runoff in my yard. So basically what I did was say, let me find out how I can get that issue resolved. That's what a county councilman should do. So to answer your question, I am going to be the county councilman that's going to show up, be on time for our neighborhoods, and perform for our neighborhoods and do the work that's required for us, not just only in county council chambers, but also in the community where I serve in District 23. Neighborhood service. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mitchell, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Good luck.
Charles. Enjoyed it. Appreciate the opportunity to meet with you.
That's been another episode. We'll see you next time.
All right.
The Greenville County Democratic Party appreciates your time listening and watching the Whole Truth podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. While you're there, please follow us, like or subscribe to this channel to help us spread the word. The GCDP wants to thank Michael Fishman from Day Moon Productions for furnishing the recording studio as well as providing his time recording and editing. The Democratic Party needs you to get actively involved and join us at future events. You can find out about them at multiple locations like the GCDP website, greenvilledemocrats.com, and browse the events calendar. You can also keep up with us through our social media presence on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads. Look for @GVLDem. Thanks again for listening. Let's get out there and do what we can to rebuild our government into one that serves us all. Thanks.